I'm glad to see you again today. So by the end of this video, you will get to know if the land that you have acquired here in Imo State or the one you want to acquire has a recognized land document. That means in this video, I'm going to clarify on land documents, specifically power of attorney. Make sure you watch this video to the end so that you can be able to know if that power of attorney you have as a land document is recognized here in Imo State and if it's genuine or not. Okay? Whenever you talk about land, you talk about documents. Land is an immovable asset. You can acquire a land property here in Imo State, but you cannot move it from here to wherever you are in Nigeria or in diaspora. The only thing you can move is the document that represents the land. So this brings us to our topic today, which says, is power of attorney recognized as land document here in Imo State? Firstly, what is a land title or a land document? If Mr. B acquires a land property from Mr. A, land document simply means transfer of ownership of that land property from Mr. A to Mr. B. Okay, so we have different types of land title or land documents. We have C of O, we have gazette, we have deed of assignment, we have deed of conveyance, we have power of attorney, we have government allocation paper and all that. But today, we're going to discuss specifically on power of attorney as land document here in Imo State. I met a client sometime and he gave me the specification of the type of land he wants to acquire. So I was able to get exactly what he wants. He now asked me the title. I told him, registered power of attorney. He said he doesn't want to buy a land that has registered power of attorney. He wants to buy a land that has government allocation paper. And that particular land I got for him has government allocation paper as title and also registered power of attorney. He said no, he wants the one that has only government allocation paper. So when I discussed further with him, I found out that he doesn't even really know how land title works here in Imo State. Okay? Alright, this particular land property has government allocation paper as title. That means Mr. A bought this land property from the government. It's a government layout, okay, and he was issued government allocation paper as title. So along the line, he now sold to Mr. B, okay. He gave Mr. B the same government allocation paper as title, and a power of attorney was prepared as a land document that shows the transfer of ownership of that land from Mr. A to Mr. B. You see where that power of attorney came in? And that power of attorney must bear the recital, the history of ownership, how Mr. A got it from the government and how he transferred it to Mr. B. Okay? Alright. We have registered power of attorney and non-registered power of attorney. Registered power of attorney means a land that has been registered in the Ministry of Lands. Okay? Why? The non-registered power of attorney means that that land has not been registered in the Ministry of Lands yet. So it doesn't mean that the one that is not registered is a fake document. No. The difference is just that the registered one can be confirmed at the Ministry of Lands as registered land, while the one that is yet to be registered cannot be confirmed as registered lands in the Ministry of Lands. Okay? That's the difference. If you have acquired a land property in Lagos, Enugu, Abuja, maybe they issued you deed of assignment or deed of conveyance as land title, right? But here in Imo State, power of attorney is highly recognized. You see more of power of attorney than deed of assignment and deed of conveyance right here. Even most of the land that are registered, they registered the Ministry of Lands here in Imo State with power of attorney. Alright, if you acquire a land property in an estate, the estate issues you power of attorney as title. Make sure you go through the power of attorney. It must bear the history of ownership, how the estate acquired that land, either from a community or from an individual or from government before they will now transfer the ownership to you. If a power of attorney as a land title does not bear the history of ownership, it is a fake document. Then if you are acquiring a land property from an individual, let's say you are Mr. C, okay? This land property was sold from Mr. A to Mr. B, and now you are Mr. C, you want to buy from Mr. B, right? The power of attorney that will be issued out must bear the history of ownership from Mr. A to Mr. B and from Mr. B to Mr. C. If Mr. A is the original owner by inheritance, it will be written on the power of attorney. He now transfers to Mr. B, and now Mr. B transfers to you, right? Secondly, Mr. B that you are buying from will also give you the power of attorney that was transferred to him from Mr. A. So that means you are going to go home with two different power of attorney as land title. That's how it works here in Imo State, okay? Again, if you are Mr. D and you want to acquire a land property that has a C of O, it means that Mr. A has sold that property to Mr. B, Mr. B sold to Mr. C, and Mr. C now wants to sell to you as Mr. D, right? And this property has a C of O as title, which Mr. A got from the government. Good. Now, before Mr. A sold to Mr. B, he must have transferred the ownership through power of attorney as title. The same thing happens from Mr. B to Mr. C. Okay? Now, you as Mr. D that wants to buy from Mr. C will give you that certificate of ownership, C of O, will now give you that transfer of ownership of power of attorney from Mr. A to Mr. B. I will also give you another power of attorney that bears transfer of ownership of property from Mr. B to Mr. C. And you as Mr. D will also prepare your own power of attorney that shows transfer of ownership from Mr. C to Mr. D. That means you are going home with three different power of attorney and that C of O as title. Okay, that's how it works. And like I said before, your power of attorney as Mr. D must bear the history of ownership from Mr. A down to Mr. D. Okay? If you want to acquire a land property that has registered power of attorney as title, is a very good title. It means that that land you want to acquire has been registered already at the Ministry of Lands, and it will be very easy for you to confirm it with your PIN number. Okay? So whatever land that you want to acquire, as long as you're not acquiring it directly from the government that will issue out government allocation paper as title, if you want to acquire it from an individual that acquired from a government, it must pass through transfer of ownership with power of attorney here in Imo State. Okay? Remember, this video is coming from Leodura Global Limited. I am just Nwadike, the Managing Director, Leodura Global Limited, your favorite real estate consultant right here in Owerri, Imo State. We don't only sell lands and properties, we also educate you regarding real estate right here in Owerri, okay? You can also check us out on our website with leoduraglobal.com.ng. So if you want to acquire a land property, be it an individual land, estate land, houses, plaza, hotel, and you want to acquire acres of land for your farming here in Imo State, call or WhatsApp us on 08060-766-340 for free site inspection for more inquiries and to acquire these properties, okay? Have a lovely day. I will see you again, and bye for now.